Some of you may have seen this current breaking news, but let's get to the basics. In the last 48 hours, the President of the United States of America maintained that Iran was reaching out to negotiate a deal. And in one of the press briefings, Donald Trump maintained that Iran came on board with a very beautiful gift to the United States of America. He didn't talk about what the gift was, but today, in the current trending, breaking news, Donald Trump has elucidated, or rather revealed, what this gift are or what this gift were. According to the President of the United States of America, Iran gifted United States of America 8 oil tankers, 8 ships of oil. And according to him, they are big oil tankers. And they went further to make some apologies by, bringing 2 more ships of oil, adding to the 8 oil tankers to make it 10 in number. That is a heavy one, because if we go by the conventional calculation for one full big oil tanker, which carries about 2 million barrels of oil, when you multiply it by 10 of them, that is going to give you 20 million barrels of oil. And if we go by the current price of oil, which is about $100 per barrel, if you multiply and do the mathematics, it's going to give you about $2 billion worth of oil. This is heavy. And according to United States of American, envoy to the Middle East, Mr. Steve Witkoff, he also explained in this very section how, Iran has been able to enrich up to 460 kilograms of uranium in a bid to making 11 nuclear warheads. For further details, for many of you who follow us religiously on this channel, you may have come across some of the videos where we explained what it means to have a uranium being enriched. But at the end of this section, I will give you a little touchlighting on that, so that those of you who started following us newly or presently will also get on board and then come to speed to understanding what we already know. Mona, watch the video.
They said to show you the fact that we're real and solid, and we're there. We're going to let you have 8 boats of oil. 8 boats. 8 big boats of oil. This was 2 days ago. And they'll sail up tomorrow. That was 3 days ago. And I didn't think much about it. And then I watched the news, and they said, a very good anchor, actually. Happened to be Fox. But I watched it, and they said, something's unusual happening. There are 8 boats that are going right up the middle of the Hormuz Strait. 8 big tankers are going loaded up with oil right through. And I said, well, I guess they were right, and they were real. And I think they were Pakistani flagged. Yes. And I said, well, I guess we're dealing with the right people. And actually, they then apologized for something they said, and they said, we're going to send 2 more boats. And it ended up being 10 boats. All right, I hope I haven't screwed up your negotiations, but I thought it was appropriate to say, because I did taunt you the other day by saying they're going to give us a present.
Throughout our meetings with the Iranians, we heard the following from them. The Iranians have the inalienable right to enrich. Then we heard they possessed enough 60% enriched material, 460 kilograms, to make 11 atomic bombs. Finally, we heard the following statement. They would not give up diplomatically what we could not win militarily. In other words, they were again miscalculating the success of Midnight Hammer, which was a total success. These are incontrovertible signs, among many other signs, sir, that their regime had not given their negotiating team authority to make a deal required by you. We conferred with you and all the other members of your foreign policy team, Susie Wiles, Pete Hegseth, the chairman, Marco Rubio, J.D., Scott Bessent, Chris Wright, John Radcliffe, throughout all of these negotiations, and we were repeatedly rebuffed on everything we asked for. I have no doubt that we exhausted all efforts on behalf of a peaceful resolution, as you directed. Jared and I both agreed that the Iranians were there to buy time until a weaker president arrived. This was a flawed strategy, as your clear direction was to never allow Iran to obtain a nuclear weapon today or any time in the future. Against that backdrop, and our compelling military successes in Epic Fury, we have had multiple reach-outs from the region and others who want to play a role in ending this conflict peacefully.
Well, for emphasis sake, and to help those of you who started following us newly on this very channel, when you talk about enriched uranium, naturally, uranium is a radioactive element which contains 2 isotopes. From the chemistry point of view, it has uranium-235 and uranium-238. The uranium-238 is the most natural abundant, that has about 99%, 99.28 or 27%. while the uranium-235 is naturally abundant up to about 0.75%. Is that isotope of uranium that is suitable for making nuclear weapons, as well as for making nuclear reactors, for making nuclear power plants. But at that, 0.7% natural abundance, you cannot use it for making nuclear weapons until you enrich this natural concentration from 0.7%, increasing it up to 5%, between 3 to 5%. Then you get a uranium that is suitable for making, nuclear reactors, for producing electricity and all of that. But when it is above 20%, up to 60% or up to 90%, you've succeeded in having an enriched uranium, which is capable of making nuclear warheads, because at that percentage of enrichment, it contains the fissile component that is able to undergo the chain reaction that is necessary for producing, nuclear warheads and all of that. So the fissile component I'm talking about is that, this chain reaction we are talking about fission process. So it makes the uranium very much easy to undergo fission process. Now, when you now talk about a uranium being enriched, or that Iran has enriched, 460 kilograms of uranium. So it simply means that the natural uranium has been subjected to some, organic synthesis process, whereby uranium is converted to uranium hexafluoride, which is very stable. So later on, this uranium hexafluoride undergoes some centrifugation process at a very, highly controlled conditions of temperature, pressure, and other requirements in order to spin out the uranium-235 that is required for making the nuclear warhead. So that is the, organic process through which uranium is eventually enriched. So when you hear enriched uranium, two things must come to your mind. It's either you are enriching your uranium to make nuclear power plants or nuclear reactors to produce electricity, or you are enriching it up to 60 to 90% in order to be able to produce nuclear warheads or nuclear weapons. And you know what that means? If Iran is able to produce 11 nuclear warheads, automatically they will keep behind North Korea. I think it's North Korea that has the lowest number of nuclear warheads, about 50 of them. So I would say that it is actually crazy that Iran has insisted over the years in making nuclear weapons or making nuclear warheads. And again, for people who were thinking that Donald Trump was blabbing and bluffing when he talked about Iran coming forward to make a deal, people didn't believe him. And today, he has broken the camel's back. One thing that has been established is that because of the type of decentralized military that Iran runs, at this material time that their original supreme leader has been eliminated, Ali Ayatollah Khamenei, and then the second son, Mojtaba, was appointed, and who is also on a sick bed, and according to some sources, it becomes really very difficult to know who is running Iran at this material time. Whether it's their president, the president of Iran, who runs the government arm of the Islamic Republic of Iran, in charge of economic policies and all of that, or the IRGC commanders. So there will always be a power tussle within Iran at this material time. People who are interested in that very office of the supreme leader. So there will always be tussles, and that is why information are not always, synchronized. One information will come out, these people will come out, say their own, these persons will come out, say their own, and so it's very difficult and very delicate at this material time. But whoever Donald Trump is talking with is also well situated, since they were able to give to United States of America this 10, oil tanker. So we sincerely hope that at the end of the day, this deal is made. But I can tell you from the statistics we have on ground, it will be very, very hard to make this deal, because Iran is bringing their own conditions, and United States of America also has their own condition, of which number 1, 2, 3 is that Iran will never have a nuclear program, a nuclear warhead. Donald Trump has reiterated that over and over. And if you say that Iran is not negotiating with the US, or they are not interested in making a deal, why are they outlining 4 conditions that must be met before the war, before there will be a ceasefire? So it means that they are also, to a very large extent, or to some extent, ready to make a deal, depending on whether USA and Israel will agree to that very deal. Well, let's continue to watch out and see how it plays out at the end of the day. It's going to be difficult, and that is probably the singular reason why Donald Trump continues to deploy, special forces down to the Middle East in readiness of what is to happen next from his own playbook. Because I said it in my last video that Donald Trump practically has a playbook. He has a plan A, he has a plan B. But let's see, as time, goes by, let's see which of the plans that will suffix at the end of the day. At this point, I'll allow you guys to be the judge. Don't forget to let me know what you think in the comment section, and share this video. Man, another person, see ya. God bless you.